Welcome to Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. I'm going to do a little quick series of videos from the beginning to the end, from the project manager in the field, approving that work is done on POs that have been issued, through to being able to write notes about that the bookkeeper can then see, and also about how the bookkeeper, whether or not there is a PO, can write notes back to the field that might come along and approve posted unpaid bills to go ahead and pay, and then all the way to where the big boss can approve posted bills as unpaid. So I just wanted to go through that flow a little bit from the field through to the bookkeeper all the way up to the big boss for communications about job costs and bills that are being posted related to them. Now I'm going to be talking about purchase orders right now. You are not required to use purchase orders in CHS, but if you watch some of my information, if I click purchase orders here and watch some of my information, if you click the help, I give you some really good reasons right here with a couple of documents about how handy purchase orders can be. And I think while I do these videos, you'll see again how handy they are. But first of all, if you'll notice, I'm logged on as user George Brown, which is a project manager with sort of a lower level of permissions, which cannot do any accounting, etc. They can do budgets and purchase orders and approve unpaid cost, etc. At level 5 of permission. And I'm logged on as that right now. Let's play like I'm out in the field. I'm George Brown. I'm the project manager that has been assigned to our VistaView demo job that we've been using in a lot of demos. And I know that we're actually through stage 4 or 5. If I click purchase orders, I can actually see the job stages. Although I'm the project manager, I've probably been doing it. There is a schedule running on this, and it's through stage 5, the latest stage. But let's say I just want to do a little cleanup of POs through earlier stages, and I want to see if they're still open, if costs have been posted to them, if I've approved the work done, etc. So I'll select the VistaView 3811 job that I'm the project manager on, and I'll say I only want to see open purchase orders through stage 2. And by open, let's go ahead and click this. Notice how it says of open POs through stage 2. By open, it means that not all costs have been posted yet, for one thing, or that they have not been marked as done. So I'll see that there's a PO total still out here for ABC Foundation. I know that they finished their work, and I know that they finished their work on this one that I can tell is a change order purchase order. And there's one little one left here. So let's talk about these 3 and what we're going to do about them. I've demonstrated in some other videos doing work done approvals, especially if you watch the purchase order videos. I've talked about it before, but I'm going to just briefly talk about it now to show the whole flow. So we're looking at this and we're thinking, well, I must have written a note about why we aren't paying the rest of this yet. So let me click, because I can see a little pinned note here that I probably wrote as George Brown. And I can see on January 10th, 2016, we're not approving this as work done until an insurance certificate is received. So they apparently did approve some because some costs got posted, which I can drill down to. Partial costs have been posted for this slab contract, but not all of them have been posted yet in our accounts payable. There's still $15,000 left. So what I need to do is I need to check to see if that insurance certificate has been received. And if I drill down by clicking on the vendor code, I can see all sorts of things about this vendor, but one of the things I can see is vendor expirations. And I can look here and I can see general liability insurance expires December 2016. This is March 2016 right now we're doing this in. So I can assume that because the bookkeeper or whoever keeps up with those has posted that, that we've received the insurance certificate. So I might write a note today, go ahead and get them paid. I like to put who wrote the note. Has been received, and it has. So I'm approving balance work done on balance of PO. So I'll save that. The reason I'm typing these notes is because I want you to see how the bookkeeper can see these notes when they're posting the bill. So let's go ahead and select this as work done. Says it gave me a notice about being over. Let me uncheck it. I don't know why. You should stop and you should actually pay attention to the note that happens. The estimated cost of completion for this job and cost code are over budget plus estimated change order cost by $2,000. You can review the estimated overage by clicking the variance report and the POs versus all costs report. It can also help to click on the PO total to open the PO, and that's what I'm going to do because we can look at ECC calculations there and see why maybe this is going to be over by $2,000 if we're concerned about it. So let's click on the PO total. It's letting the person in the field know, this is over. And we can see that overage over here on the ECC information, that $2,000 overage. What we can see is we had an original budget of $30,576. We had a PO for $2,400, so revised budget was $32,976. But look at the total POs; they are $2,000 over the revised budget. So we might take a look at that to see why. And what you can see here is that we issued a PO which was extra for soil conditions for $2,000. And we know about that. That just reminded us when we looked at it. Okay, yeah, it did go over by $2,000 because of that. So you can see how you can drill down to the purchase order and see a lot of information right there. If you're looking at this one and you see it's a change order PO, you drill down, you're going to get, because it's the same cost code, you'll get the same estimated cost of completion worksheet information, over to the right. And if you're wondering, what was this change order for, you can drill down on the change order part. You can see that it's the slab for the added sunroom. So you can get quite a bit of information from this window just by drilling down on the purchase order itself and getting to the rest of the information. So we also know that the added slab for the sunroom is done. It was put in stage 2. It could have been put in a later stage if we decided that slab would be done later. So I'm check marking that one as done. So therefore, as work done, that's all this is saying. As I'm out in the field, I'm saying the work is done. Now we have one more here that the PO was for $3,600, but costs posted were $3,350. So open amount is $250, and I need to remind myself this is for United Plumbing. So I wrote a note to myself in December that I'm holding $250 until they get the site cleaned up. But now I'm going to type, George says they never cleaned it up, so we will not pay the $250. I am going to mark this PO as done. Let's say on March 15th, 2016. Just something where it's clear when you wrote the note and who wrote the note, because various people can write notes. So I'll save that and I'll close that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to check mark this as done, so it won't show up in a list of open POs that a bookkeeper might be able to create a bill from. Also, if the bookkeeper attempts to do a bill the other direction, they will be able to see the notes about this particular PO if they try to use it to pay them. So this is being refreshed, and now you'll see that that one that I marked as done is no longer on here. I'm only looking for POs through stage 2, but they're open POs, and I marked that one as done. That was for the plumbing, United Plumbing. So what I'd like to do is, let's see how long this video is so far. Let's go ahead and let's just take a look at the United Plumbing. We've now done a couple of things. Let's play like the bookkeeper. I'm going to pause this for a second. I paused the video for a second and logged off and came back on as the bookkeeper, which is myself, Carol King. And I'm going to play like we got a bill from that United Plumbing for that final $250 that the project manager was writing notes about not paying because they never cleaned up the site. And I want to show you what how the bookkeeper can get clued in and see some of those notes and maybe catch that this part should not be paid. So I'm going to where I post a new payables bill, and I'm going to select that United Plumbing because say I've got a little thing showing a balance due of $250, which right away that might make me think it's kind of odd. And in our case, we're using purchase orders. You don't have to, but there might be some other things I'll show you that'll give you a clue about things. And it's checking for any alerts for this particular vendor. And it found some, but we're not going to do those in this particular video about liability insurance being expired, etc. Now, maybe I'm going to go look for anything, any POs, and maybe they have the PO number written on it, and it's this purchase order, but look at how it says outstanding 0 because the project manager, George Brown, marked it as done. So that should be my first clue, is that it's been marked as done by somebody even though posted costs are less than the PO amount. But I'm going to go ahead and select it because I know about some other things that I can review. For one thing, after I've selected a PO, it's saying it's a duplicate invoice number here because I did previously post this PO and CHS supplied an invoice number previously that's the same one. So that's a tiny clue also. But if I click PO status and variance notes, I can actually see the notes that George wrote about how he's not going to pay the $250, etc. So the other thing, if I've gotten used to the tools on the accounts payable window, I might decide, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and also take a look at the estimated cost of completion for this particular cost code and job, which would be just the ECC. ECC all will show all the estimated cost of completion for the entire job, but I'm just interested in this cost code. And notice how it says this is for review only. Can only check mark actual costs as done. For other changes, open the ECC worksheet using the budget estimates, which is where you normally go to do all of your ECC work. But it did say I could check mark costs as done because I know about George's note, and I know that there'd be notes here. If I click the notes here, this would have been another way for me to review all of these notes. And here's notes about purchase orders and about that $250. And here's notes I wrote when I did post the initial amount as a payables bill. But now I know, that all we're going to pay is the $3,350. So I'm going to just go ahead and check mark this cost as done. And I might decide to add a few notes right here. By the way, you can make this a little bit bigger to look at if you like. Here, I'll check mark the actual costs. Because we will not be paying the $250. So I'm going to save that. So you can see how the bookkeeper could actually get a clue, not post that bill for $250, or could post the bill and then put a minus line, that indicates we're deducting, so that it's clearer if you ever look at everything. It's just a little bit up to you. You might decide that this is enough notes, I'm not going to post the bill at all. Or you might make something that's in your trail of things that does a plus and minus, just so you do that. So if I went ahead and put 250 here, and then I just copied my line, and then I did minus 250 here, and then I put United deduct for site cleanup. There's just some things, depending on how much detail you'd like to see related to that, and I kept this attached to this PO just because we want to see all the actual costs attached and the history. So all of this is zero, so when I go to submit it, I am going to just post it as paid and use today's use a random check number that I've suggested many times before and is behind this tip, because it's not really a check, because it's a zero amount. And I'll tab out of that so it can check to see if I have any others, and I'll post it as paid, and I'll close that. So therefore, if you ever are looking at a ledger for United Plumbing, or maybe you're looking at the purchase orders, and you're looking at the purchase orders management for VistaView, you're just wanting to look up some stuff real quick to see what the deal is behind all that. And you did let's say POs and cost management, so you can see both the costs and the PO amounts here. You can see this over under and that it's marked as done. And if you wanted to drill down on those posted costs, right away you'd get a clue without needing to get to the notes. But deduct for site cleanup, so the in and out, I don't know why I just did that, just so I could have that record. You don't really have to do that, but it was just something I did once I knew about it. And I also, while I was being the bookkeeper, I went ahead and marked those actual costs as done, so for the estimated cost of completion, so that our estimated cost of completion changed instead of $3,600 to $3,350 for that rough plumbing, and so adjusted things so that everybody would know. So hopefully you can see how that part works. We're going to do the next video and come back and deal, maybe post a couple of the bills for ABC Foundation that are unpaid, and then we'll talk about how the field can come back in and pull up all the unpaid bills and either approve them or not, and then how the big boss can come in and also approve them. So thank you for watching.